decide with all of you, I want to start with this. I want you to just imagine if you were sitting down with yourself, would you trust you? Would you trust you? Would you believe that you are the person that can support somebody in an actual transformation, in having a life impacting event? When you look in the mirror, are you living the part? Do you speak and walk what you're preaching or asking of others? So it has to start there, guys. This is with retailing and prospecting and recruiting. So many people continue to question, why isn't it working for me? Why don't people listen to me? Why doesn't anybody want to buy my stuff or be part of my business? And the truth is, I always look in the mirror first at me and go, okay, what is my role? Because yes, there's the let go, let God, let them, but then there's the part that says, let me figure out what it is that I can do better to improve the way I'm building trust and brand and attracting people to me. In the end, it's all about that. Are people drawn to you? Are they attracted to you? And people say, well, how do I make that happen? By representing what it is you want to attract. So I wanted to start with that tonight before I even shared anything else, because I think it comes before anything else. So as we get rocking and rolling here tonight, guys, I do want to invite all of you to throw questions in the chat, because we will save time at the end to come back to those questions. So Amber will be watching that and she'll bring us back to that. So feel free to throw questions in the chat as we go through. Some of those questions may get answered as we proceed, but I want to make sure that I'm on track with you. I want to make sure that I'm giving you what you're looking for today and something that's actually going to help you. So I want to go back to the oldest method in the world in helping somebody make a decision, an emotional decision that could change and impact their life. And it's through telling a story. And I'll prove this to you guys. How many of you go to church, or, you go see a speaker and you're listening, or at least you look like you're listening, right? And you're like, uh-huh. And then all of a sudden they switch it up and say, hey, may I share a story with you about how this impacted my wife and our family? And all of a sudden your ears kind of perk up and you're like, yes, you may. And they've drawn you in. You've changed your state. You're ready to listen because you can relate. And all of a sudden you just feel like a story I can remember. And this is the win for you. People remember stories because it elicits an emotional feeling inside. So story number one, if you're taking notes, is the key to success in both retailing and prospecting. And I put in the chat, Story Brand 2.0, Donald Miller. Look him up on YouTube first. I'm going to share a couple of his videos tonight. And when I share those videos, there you go, Amber. I mean, he is absolutely magnificent, guys. Absolutely magnificent. Every word he speaks, as soon as I learned of him, and it was actually through Cullen Haskins, I studied and I studied and I studied, and I'm still studying and I'm still learning. But I've always, with Market America, I learn something, I study it, and then I start teaching it and practicing it, because that's how we can tweak it, because I'm not the best at this yet. But I will be absolutely phenomenal at this very soon, because now I practice it in every single conversation that I'm having. Now, the funny part is, when I think about this, it is as old as, if you look back in the Bible, what do you really listen to? You could read the Bible and not understand one word, but all of a sudden they still tell a story, the Last Supper, or, Noah's Ark, and you're all in, right? So I think for all of us, we want better retail. We want more customers. We want to impact people more, but there has to be the why first, right? Simon Sinek, what is your why? Well, products can pay for themselves. So I always start my new owner and I say to them, how would you like it if you could retail enough products that all of the products you want for yourself are paid for by the retail profit? Heck yeah, that'd be great, right? That's a beginning goal for a new owner. I want my retail profit to pay for my products. That's a great start. The trainings we attend, even though they're incredibly inexpensive, what if my retail could increase to the point that now it actually pays for my training as well. Wouldn't that be a great goal? Again, I love the way we have the basic five. JR is brilliant in so many ways, but that basic five, now we're plugging the goals in with the retail, and it's also going to lead to prospecting, recruiting. So let's keep the basic five blended in tonight. Retail is what's going to give you the freedom. Kevin Buckman was known for having a smaller distributorship, so less unfranchised owners to have to train and work with. But each of them had such a profound amount of customers and used so many products themselves that Kevin was known for that. How many of you would love it if you just had so many customers that the volume just kept flowing? And not only was it paying you retail profit, but the BD was paying you and your entire organization, right? Because that's how we help more people. So the key is people don't buy products. What they're really buying, we all think, oh, if they think my product is the best, if they hear that it's isotonic, then they're going to want my product. Not necessarily. Guys, people buy products based on emotion. If you can show them a picture of how somebody transformed, became better, could walk better, less pain and inflammation in their body, their eyesight was better, their energy was better, they were sleeping finally, that elicits emotion. So they're really buying not your product, they're buying into the fact that you can help them become a better version of themselves, which leads Amber to the story. Donald Miller emphasizes over and over, the customer is the hero, we are the guide. The customer is the hero, we are the guide. This was very new for me. I know that sounds crazy to you, but I used to introduce myself. Hi, I'm Chele Boe. I'm a nutraceutical consultant. I'm also a practicing therapist. I love supporting people. You know what that person is thinking? Blah, blah, blah. Good for you, Chele Boe. I don't even know why I'm here talking to you. But when I start with, you know how most people are out there and they're just putting up with nights without sleep. They're trying to get through their day. They feel completely burnt out. They're exhausted and stressed. That's the person that reaches out to me because I work with a line of nutraceuticals and support them in transforming their bodies so they can sleep, so they can walk through their day feeling like they've got energy. My name is Chele Boe, and I'm a nutraceutical consultant with Nutrametrix. You see, I saved who I am, what I do for the end. Start with them. That way they feel like they're the hero and you put yourself into that position. You are here to guide them. So I want to talk a little bit about home events. You guys are phenomenal with home events, by the way. Kudos to you. I am working like crazy to get people to have that mindset. I always have believed in home events. I had one lull in my business where it stagnated. And when it stagnated, I had to step back and go, what am I doing differently than I did when I was growing so quickly? And it was home events. And why, Chele, did you quit doing home events if you knew you were growing? Because they stagnated, because I thought it's not worth it if one or two people show up. Oh, so really the issue was you weren't working as hard as you used to get people there. We got to look in the mirror, guys, right? When we have home events, we think if we have the best of the best, the naturopathic doctor, the nurse practitioner, the product specialist explaining our products, then they're going to buy it. Nothing could be further from the truth. It may bring credibility to have those people there. People do not buy the best product. They buy the product they understand the fastest. Don't waste their time trying to feed them all the science, the ingredients, or how great you are. They don't care, guys. That's why they're pulling out their credit cards at 3 a.m. when they can't sleep, buying junk off the internet, buying junk off the infomercials, because they want the product that says you will be able to sleep when you take this product. If you have trouble sleeping, you should buy this product. That would be a great decision for you. You shouldn't have to go through life not having good night's sleep. Okay. My dad says it every time I'm with him. What do you think about that product, Shell? What do you think about that product? I'm like, Dad, I think it's a good advertisement. That's what I think, right? So I want you guys to hear this. This is Donald Miller himself. He's going to give you a little snippet. Now, he uses an example of somebody who is training dogs to make a simple example. but I want you to hear what he says. It's very important because this is how we're going to build our customer base.
Here's the formula for a really great elevator pitch: problem, product, result. So you don't start with the product. You don't start by the features of the product. You actually say, hey, anybody who's struggling with this should buy this so that they can experience this. Anybody who has a dog barking every time somebody knocks on their door should hire me because I can stop that dog from barking in only 2 sessions so that whenever somebody knocks on your door, there's peace and calm. That's an elevator pitch.
That's an elevator pitch. I listen to that and I think, yes, guys, that's what we need to be doing, simplifying things. So I did the most simple version of this. If you're struggling with bloating, gas, indigestion, purchasing Isotonics digestive enzymes is the right decision for you. Now, there's, again, psychology. I love psychology. It's my whole background. It's what I do, right? So I love when I can read psychology into things. Is a right decision for you. You put them in the driver's seat. They're still the hero. They're making the decision. I didn't say you should buy my product. My product would be the best one. My product would make a difference. That puts me as the hero. But when I say, if you're struggling with this, purchasing the digestive enzymes would be a great decision for you. You shouldn't have to walk through life feeling that pain and that bloating every time you have a meal, right? Now I'm empathizing with them. So they understand very quickly what my product does. Now, guys, when it comes to this business, I truly believe with all my heart, and this wasn't me always, I'm telling you, I've really changed things up a lot in the last year, year and a half. I've really taken a look further at wellness as the foundation of our lives. Because the older I get, the more I realize that without my health, I don't have a great life. Without my health, none of the money, the cars, the homes, the assets, it means nothing. So most people spend their whole life chasing after wealth, and then they spend all of that wealth trying to get back their health. What a waste. So at a foundation, if you start with every person and you think this person definitely has an area of their life that could use improvement. And now again, I'm going to go back to the very thing I opened with. Are you walking that walk? When they see your social media, when they see you out in public, when they see you eating, drinking, are you partying every day of your life? Is that what you're showing them? Because you're not the person I will take advice from. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm being honest. I will not take advice from you. So I've always prided myself in being a healthy eater, exercising, meditating, praying, doing all the right habits behind the scenes. So when I speak to somebody, they know that I can maintain eye contact. I'm truthful. I'm authentic because I am walking the walk and inviting them into that. Because I already know most of you are stressed. Most of you are fatigued. You're inflamed. You're burnt out. This is the world we live in. So my question often is, and I hope again, you're taking some notes on this. I want you to ask people, how would you show up in the world if you actually felt good? How would you show up tomorrow in even in your workplace if you got a good night's sleep and you woke up feeling like you wanted to conquer your day? How would you show up differently? I don't know if everybody realizes that supplementation, a good healthy lifestyle, it is no longer a luxury. It is absolutely essential because we're bombarded. Just sitting here breathing the air, we're being bombarded by free radicals. Drinking water, we're bombarded. The foods we eat, bombarded. Amber, when my husband chewed on that chicken foot and ate that stinky egg, I swear, grossest smelling thing in the world. We still talk about that. I got Tony to actually, because Amber's like, oh, Chele, you have to try everything. I will not. I will not, Amber, because I will be vomiting on this table. We've had some good times. So the $1 million question. Sitting across the table from somebody at a family event, at a sporting event, walking out of church, just conversing with people, grabbing coffee with a friend, touching base with people online. You know, if there were one thing, Amber, that I could help you improve with your health, what would it be? And this is the $1 million question because everybody has something. And it's sort of like in our conversation. So where do we begin? Where do we begin? Is it your gut? Is it weight? Is it mental and emotional health? Is it your general health? Is it maybe your finances? Guys, I love open questions like this because it may lead to the business and it may lead to product. They may actually say to you, well, I feel like our health is good, but financially we're really struggling. Fantastic. Let's start there. So you see, when you ask questions that open up conversation and create some emotion, one, you're building trust because you didn't just say, oh, well, I noticed, that you've put a little bit of weight on. Do you want some help with that? That would not go over very well with most people. Can you imagine saying that to somebody? Guys, yeah, I've noticed you put on a few pounds. Do you want some help with that? I don't think we'd be friends much longer. So we have to learn how to communicate. Communication meaning you have my full attention. My eyes are locked to your eyes. I've lowered my body to your body. Sort of like in a submissive position. I am here to honor you. I am here to hear you. I am here to empathize with you. I'm here for you. You're the hero of this story. I'm not the champion. I'm not the hero. I'm just the guide. So I always believe every person that crosses our path, God brought them there for a reason. So you have to trust those interactions, but connect with them before you start correcting them. Oh, you're taking pills? Yeah, you must not realize pills don't even absorb. You should be taking isotonics. That will not win you a customer. Instead, you're taking supplements. I love that. I applaud you for that. Tell me what supplement brand you love the most. Okay, so is that in a pill form, a gel cap? Is it in a liquid, isotonics, or is it an IV fluid that you're choosing? Well, most of them are in pills. I hear you. I used to take pills too. One, I didn't like swallowing them. And two, I just really started to question if they're even getting to a cellular level. Have you ever thought about that? Right. So I'm connecting with them. If you get defensive and put them in a position where the guard comes up, we've lost them. And then asking lots of questions. Tell me about that. Tell me more. Why is that? Well, how long's that been going on? Is there some way that I could support you in that? Right? Before you're just so quick to tell them how it should be, what they should take. Here's a good one from Donald Miller. I think you guys will love this because it applies to both the products, retailing, and prospecting with the business.
If you've heard about the book Building a Story Brand 2.0, but you don't want to read it, let me summarize it for you so you don't have to read it. The controlling idea of this book, the main idea is that your customer is the hero, you are the guide. Your customer is the hero and you are the guide. Your job in your customer's life is to help them win the day. And when they realize that your whole company, that your whole person is all about them winning, they are very, very attracted to you. Now, the next thing you want to do after you position yourself as the guide in the customer's life, the customer is the hero, you want to actually invite them into a story using 7 sound bites. The first sound bite is identify what the hero of the story wants. That's your customer. What is it that your customer wants? Identify one thing and say it in a sound bite. Second, what is their problem? What are they struggling with? What are they frustrated about? Summarize their problem into a sound bite. Next, position yourself as the guide in the customer's life. You need a sound bite that expresses empathy. We feel for you if you are struggling with X, right? Empathy is the sound bite, the most important soundbite to position yourself as a guide. Next, you need a soundbite that gives you a 3-step plan. The customer has 3 steps they need to take to go from their problem to your solution. We're going to do an intake session, we're going to give you a customer report, and then you're going to purchase our solution. Whatever that is, a 3-step plan makes it much more likely they will move forward. Next, you need a soundbite that calls them to action. Here is how we ask for the money. That soundbite is going to say, if you are struggling with this, then our product is the right solution. Would you like to buy it today? If you are struggling with X, Y is the solution, which is our product. You should buy it today. That's the soundbite that you need. Then you need 2 more soundbites. You need a success soundbite. If you buy our product, your life will look like this. You also need a failure soundbite. If you don't buy our product, your life will look terrible. It will look like this. Those 7 soundbites, what this book teaches you to create. The most important idea, though, is that you are not the hero of the story. Your customer is the hero of the story. You are the guide, and as the guide, you invite your customer into a story in which they solve their problem using your product, and you do it with 7 sound bites. That's what that book is about.
Love it. I just love it so much.
If you've heard about the book Building a Story,
every time I listen to him, it makes more and more sense. And it's interesting because recently as I listened to Good Morning, Good Morning, Good Morning, Drayton Hodo and Mark Bernanke and some of the others that are putting out these great social media videos, they are saying this exact thing. We have to build trust with that person. We have to know that they believe we have their best interest at hand. If you don't bond with them, if you're not connecting with them, if there's not trust with them, they're probably not going to purchase your product or partner with you. So it always starts with relationship, and relationship builds as you share authentic stories. So if you break this down, and this might be a quick screenshot moment, the customer has a problem, right? Everybody, what did J.R.O. say? Everybody wish, wants, and hopes. If you sit with them long enough, they're always going to complain what they wish was different, right? You could even go that far as to say that, to say to somebody, you know how everybody out there wishes, they want, they hope to feel better, to look better, to walk through their day with more energy? Oftentimes when that happens, my phone will ring because they're reaching out and they want that help. I'm here to support people and align with people to help them to find solutions when they feel fatigued, when they feel like they can't sleep, when they feel like they hurt, when they feel like they really are ready to release that extra weight. We offer a plan. The customer, being the hero, is the one going to take the action. But then we have to remind them, hey, I want this for you as much as you want it for you. What I'm hearing right now is you take this product, it's going to support the way you want to feel. You don't take this product and you continue down the path that you're on right now. And the way it sounds as you're sharing with me, it's not getting any better, right? So they need to remember how they feel and what it'll look like if they don't purchase our product. And then remember how Donald Miller says 3-step process. This would be a good example of that. So, what I want to do next, Tom, is just send a quick little 1-minute quiz over to you. This will unlock 10% off. So if you do choose, this will unlock 10% off. So when you choose which products are best for you, notice how I corrected that. We've got to catch ourselves when we say if or should or wanna. Any of those words gives us a 50-50 chance of success. So we have to rephrase it even to ourselves and just remind ourselves, when you get the right products, then we can sit down and we can have a good conversation about how these products will work for you, how to take these products. So I'm going to send you a 1-minute quiz. It's going to unlock that 10% off. That way, when you choose the right products for you, we know that it's going to give you the result you're looking for. And I'd love to invite you to a conversation within the next couple of days, just to make sure that we're supporting you to the best of our ability. Okay, so 3 steps. And those might not be your 3 steps. It's just I want to give you an example always. So we all have a superpower. Every one of us has a superpower. And I always say it's our secret sauce. What makes you stand out? What makes most of us stand out to people is that we actually listen. We pay attention. We hear them. We probe and ask questions. They feel connected. If I could tell you how many of my clients give me that exact feedback, Chele, I trust you. I feel so safe with you. I know that I can tell you 100% of what's really going on in my head because I know that you won't judge me. Telling you guys, this is what our customers need to hear. So when I say get in the hole with them, it means relate with them. Sympathy is not, of course, if somebody loses a loved one, yes, of course we have sympathy for them, right? But when someone's walking through life and they're struggling with pain, fatigue, inflammation, burnout, stress, sleep, energy, weight, empathy is the right word. I know how you feel. I felt the same way. I am on right now track to be 20 pounds lighter than I was a year ago. And I did that by really making a decision. So I'm here to support you. I'm one of those people that will stay with you. I'll link arms with you and we're going to get you to where you want to be. You get in the hole with them. You empathize with them. Don't give your pitch. Listen. They'll make their own decision. You know how JR always says, and this is funny because for probably 18 months now, I've been showing, as many of you know, a 6-slide plan. And I am convinced, and as I listened to Mark Bernanke, by the way, the other night, I was absolutely like on track with everything he did, said, presented, because I said, this is what we need to do, guys. Simplify our business, simplify our retail, simplify our message with people. So when people feel safe and like they can trust us, but JR, I mean, he's been doing this when you think about it forever, because he always said, I don't show the plan to anybody unless I know they're going to be on board with us. Well, he would say get in, but I don't use that verbiage. You guys remember this? I don't show the plan to anybody unless I know already they're getting in. It's kind of like that with products, the same. I know that when I connect and I listen and they know that they're the hero of the story and I'm just here to guide them and they can trust me to do that, I'm in the hole with them. I know they're going to buy my product. But I do the same thing with the business plan, guys. I don't show the business plan to a ton of people. I only show that business plan, and it's typically the short version, to the people that I absolutely believe they've tried the products, they love the products, they're already bringing people to the products. That person has a really good reason to look at this as an additional income. So remember to listen first, but then the retail formula. Just know this like the back of your hand. Problem, product, result, problem, product, result, problem, product, result. And if you keep that in the back of your mind, it'll start to become so simple when you're in conversations or you run into friends or you run into people and you just connect in the gym, wherever it might be. And you think, wow, they just got done telling me that, they couldn't sleep last night, or they've been working out, for ages and they're still trying to look like Drayton and it just isn't happening. And I would just say, you do what I do and you just visualize that you have muscles like Drayton and they just grow. That's what I do, Drayton. So that's my method to my madness. I do work out, just not at that level, not even close. Amber, that picture was priceless. And I should send that in a poster to Drayton and he can just sit there and go, wow,
Oh
Chele didn't have to go to the gym. She just thought about having. So every great testimony, when you listen, follows this pattern. So I'm going to run through some with you guys real quick here. See what time. Okay. So I might not get through all of them, but I'm going to do, this is going to be like, if you were speed dating. Okay. So if anybody's ever speed networked or speed dated. All right. So I'm going to start with my mom. My mom was really struggling, feeling like her body just was holding back things. She had 7 children and she always felt like sort of unhealthy in her female area. Interesting enough, my mom started OPC3 and within 6 days, she said her urine smelled unlike anything she had ever smelled. She said, Chele, I absolutely believe that was my body finally getting rid of things that had been there for years since I had all of you kids. My dad recently, he has progressive supranuclear palsy. My dad wants so bad to just be in a tractor, be able to be on the farm, do things. My mom died 2.5 years ago. He's very lonely, but he's got this disease and it's debilitating for him to walk. We've had him on all the supplements for 20 years, but we added the NMN and the creatine with taurine. And my dad has not used his walker a day since he started those 2 products. And I was with him just this weekend. He still continues to not have to use that walker. My friend Karen, she was referred to me by a friend, lived down the road from me. She was at a nutrition store and that friend said, I'm just going to encourage you not to buy the things you're looking at right now. I want to refer you to a friend of mine, Chele Boe. Karen has been a customer of mine now for 15 years. One of my top customers, refers me, my God, at least 15 people she's brought to me. Tina, she was a client of mine, a therapy client, very, very sick with skin cancer. And she actually came to Dr. Stan with me. We got her started on products finally after Dr. Stan. The second time I saw her after starting those products, I said, Tina, the whites of your eyes are white. Your skin has color to it. It didn't look gray. I mean, Tina looked like death walking. And I saw her again this last week and her face looked like it was filling out a little bit more. She's very, very frail. And I just felt like her energy was better, her ability to communicate, amazing. And she is using curcumin, B complex, vitamin D3. And I got her started on daily essentials. And I feel like bromelain was the other one we started her on. Nope, vitamin C. Sarah, another client, very, very sick with what is undiagnosed scleroderma, Lyme disease, and several other things. She has a ton of childhood trauma. Her body has become decrepit. It's turned on her. Got her started on our supplements. By the time she left my house, 15 minutes after drinking her first prime joint formula, she said, "Is it possible my neck is already moving better back and forth?" I said, "It absolutely is." She's now added 5 more products to her regimen. Kim came to me. She said, "I can't leave my house. I have incontinence since I've had all of my surgeries following my ovarian cancer. They took my guts out. They put my guts back in. I can't leave the house without being fearful I will go in my pants." Got her started on the trio, enzymes, probiotics, and aloe juice. 2 weeks later, not only did she get rid of the pain that she was having inside, her incontinence, she also got rid of the acid reflux she was experiencing. Steve Moffel, had him as a customer now for 16 years, came to me with debilitating gouty arthritis. He started on ORAC and OPC3. They work together beautifully for gouty arthritis. And Steve now calls himself Happy Feet. He stopped my products for 1 year, came back to me after a year and said, "I've tried everything else out there. Nothing compares." 16 years still taking those products. Chris, driving through the drive-thru at the bank. She was struggling with feminine issues, just imbalances, hitting menopause, perimenopause. She's been taking Feminine now for 8 years, will not go without that product. Tim came to me with prostate care issues, very enlarged prostate, borderline toward prostate cancer. He's been taking MPC Prime Prostate Formula and anti-aging now for years, and his numbers are perfect. Jim and I just sat down. He actually gave me a ride to the airport when I came to Philly just a few weeks back. He was my Uber driver. We sat down and had coffee this last week. I asked him, after a long conversation of asking him a ton of questions and learning all about the books he's written, and phenomenal guy. And I said, "So how's your health, Jim?" And he said, "Well, I have prostate cancer and I have AFib." I said, "Well, what have you done about that?" And he was telling me this and that. And I said, "I love that you're taking," right? And we had the conversation, complimented him, and just said, "Jim," and this is where Story Brand came in. I said, "Jim, you have a woman that you love. You have a life that you're just living to the fullest." I said, "Do you want to maintain the health of your prostate so you can just continue down that path?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm going to suggest, if it's all right with you, a couple of supplements that have helped my husband, my father-in-law, my father, and several other clients that I have. Would you be open to that?" He said, "Yes." And I said, "Are you taking magnesium for the AFib?" And he said, "I am." I said, "Is it a pill? Is it a gel cap? Is it a liquid? Isn't it?" He said, "It's a pill." And I said, "That's great. If it's working for you, awesome." I said, "If you're open to an upgrade and you'd like to support it even more, I'm going to just throw in my link." And I made him on my list. And then Jennifer, she brought her 14-year-old to me. He was having seizures. I was actually doing therapy with him. So a lot of my customers come for physical and emotional things. And I just love this young man. And she said, "Chele, not only is he having amazing success since you started him on curcumin, he's not had one seizure. But she said, his doctor said to ask you, do you have a good magnesium for him?" She ended up buying magnesium and B complex. So just like that, guys, I mean, and that just scratches the surface. But when we tell a story, they had a problem, we recommended a product after questions and connection, and the result speaks for itself. So I hope that helps you guys. That's kind of how a non-negotiable, average $1,000 a week. Some weeks it's 2,600, other weeks it's 800. But it averages out. Always at least $1,000 a week in retail for me. And I truly believe it's because people know that I care. People know that I care, and they can trust me to be respectful of their budget and their needs. So I've invited one of my best friends here tonight, and he drove an hour and a half to get here. Drayton Hodo spent some significant time with him when we had the Northern Region event. And he has an unbelievable respect and admiration for Drayton Hodo. And so I love that. Drayton, as you know, I do too. Even though I taught you everything, I still admire you and respect you. And now I'm learning everything from you. But Mike is just one of a kind. And Mike came out of the gates running. Unbelievable story. And I asked him, I said, "Mike, would you come share as just a normal, super down to earth, great person. How have you built now, what, 72 customers in a matter of 5 months?
Yep.
72 customers in a matter 72 in 5 months. So if you guys are all right with it, Mike didn't even study StoryBrand. He had no idea. He's never heard any of this information. He just did it naturally. So I'm going to turn the camera to Mike, if it's okay with everyone. I want Mike to share a little bit about how he built 72 customers in a matter of really kind of 4 months is about how long it took him, but they keep coming every day. So here's Mike Tremp.
Hey guys. So yeah, I just start, I mean, the thing is to go talk to people. Short conversations, don't go into lengthy detail about everything, make it short and sweet. My 72 customers that I have is a 5-minute conversation, and as a lot of you know, that's doesn't sound possible because I talk a lot, but anyways, it's just talking to the people, giving them the basic information, telling them what it can do for their health. My first customer on Daily Essentials was my truck driver at work. He had knee problems, he had hip problems. I gave him a trial packet. And I'll tell you guys, the trial packet, spend the money. It's well worth it. It'll make you money down the road. It'll make your people that you're dealing with feel a lot better. But anyways, my truck driver, he tried it for 3 days. He said, "Give me a packet." 4 months later, or 4 weeks later, he says, "I got no hip pain. I got no knee pain. I got energy. I'm not tired. I used to drive down the road," and I used to do the same thing. I used to drive down the road 10, 15 minutes down the road, and it's like I'm tired. And since I was on Daily Essentials, I don't have that problem. I don't get tired till probably 6, 7 o'clock at night, where I start feeling that, things are finally catching up with me. But yeah, just have that small conversation with people. I have other people.
Well, how did it start with Amy and then her friend and then your tightwad friend? Those are funny.
Yeah, so Amy, my fiance, she had stomach issues, and she's kind of a hard one to break, but I gave her a bottle of the aloe juice, and she ended up taking it. I got her another bottle. She's like, "Don't ever let me go off this stuff." And she's been on it now for probably, I don't know,
8 months.
8 months, a little bit longer than that. She loves it. She introduced it to a friend of hers at work. I said, "You never can fire this girl because she's a customer of mine, and she always will be." She contacts me every once in a while. She says, "Oh my God, thank you so much for introducing me to this product. I'm never gonna go off it." She loves it. Let's see, about 9 months ago, a guy that I used to work for, I went in by him, and he was talking, and he just got out of the hospital. He wasn't in the hospital that long. He had COVID and he had emphysema. And I talked to him for a little bit, and it's like, we got done with the conversation, and 2 nights later, I'm like, "Why didn't you offer him a Daily Essential pack?" So I went back immediately, talked to him, told him about the products. He said, "Okay." He says, "I'll try it." And this guy, he'll spend money at a bar, whatever, but he's very tight. And it's like, this guy, you couldn't even like give him something for free. I was surprised he took the Daily Essential packet. He took it for 3 days. He said, "Give me a packet of that, or give me a month's supply of that." I sold him a month's supply of it. I came back to him. He called me back. He says, "Can I get another box?" I said, "How's it working for you?" He says, "Well, as long as I've been married," he says, "every time my wife gets a cold, I get a cold." He said, it's dead gonna happen. I've been on this product only for a month. He said, she got a cold. I did not get a cold." He said, "I feel great." He said, "My body feels better." I said, "Yeah, Rich." I said, "You look a lot younger too." And he kind of looked at me, and he didn't believe me right away, but after him taking it now for 8 or 9 months, his facial complexion does look a lot healthier than what he does, because this guy does put in probably 16 to 18 hours a day. So the guy that you thought would never sell anything to, the people that you don't think, all you got to do is have a small conversation and,
And be prepared, Mike.
right.
That's one thing Mike always says to me. Be prepared, Chele. You got to have your daily essentials packets, your catalogs, and your cups.
Mhm.
You don't leave home without them.
Right.
Mike
right.
goes to a lot of bar restaurants because, you know, goes out to eat, but he's got buddies. And, you know, one thing about Mike, he's got a lot of good friends. Mike is very trustworthy. If you meet Mike, you'll know he's down to earth. He's fun loving. He's kind. He's generous. Mike would take the shirt off his back and give it to anybody. So the people who associate with him already have trust. They already know if Mike says this is working for him, he's telling me the truth. If Mike thinks this could help me, he's telling me the truth. So again, it goes back to be exactly what you expect, you know, to attract. And
Right, correct.
but how about that guy? 70. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to add one more thing, and I mean, I'm not trying to make it a funny situation, but a buddy of mine, he came up to me probably 8, 9 months ago, and he wanted to lose weight. So I got him on the Go Trim Slim. He took it for 3 months, and it didn't really do anything. I said, well, what'd you do to change your diet? He's like, nothing. I'm like, so you're still drinking 300 gallons of beer a day and eating 9 donuts during your work day? And he said, well, yeah, maybe. So what? He said, this isn't working for me. He said, yeah. He said, your products don't work. I said, well, Corey, I said, you gotta weed out some things for your products to work. So 3 weeks go by, I end up going by his garage. He's got like a kind of bar set up, and guys come over to his garage. And he says, man, he said, I'm really tired tonight. He said, I hope I get a good night's sleep. So I go out to my car, and I brought not one, but 2 bottles of Awake. And I said, here, I said, take this bottle of Awake. I said, it'll put you to sleep. I said, you have the best night's sleep ever. And he looks at me, he says, really? He says, I'll have to try that. So he tried it that night. He called me up at 5:30 in the morning. He said, you son of a gun. He said, what did you give me? He says, I've been wide awake all night long. I said, well, yeah. He says, of course, that's what it's supposed to do. I said, it's supposed to keep you awake. He says, well, how am I supposed to work the whole day? I said, well, that's why I gave you 2 bottles. I said, just to prove our product does work.
That's
Isn't
a
that
funny
hilarious?
story.
It is a funny story. Again, it's a story, right? It's a story. But this is what Mike just tells the truth. I used to get tired at this time. I don't since I've been taking daily essentials and just has them try it. But you know, we've now coined the term the Mike, because now one of my other new owners, who just activated, by the way, and she's earned her first $200-300 checks. She wrote me and she said, Chele, I pulled a Mike this weekend. I said, what'd you do? And she goes, well, I ran into this couple out at the bar. We're up north. And she said, the wife, you know, her husband was overindulging. And I said, here, take this daily essentials packet. He's going to need it. He'll feel a lot better tomorrow. Next day, she goes, Faye, I wanted to tell you, I didn't give it to my husband. Screw that. That's on him. She said, I took it. Holy crap, does that stuff work? And she goes, I pulled a Mike just like that. She ordered the product. So I feel like this could become a real thing out there. You know, we just need to call it the Mike. We're going to coin that term, Mike. So stories sell because they transform, because they create an emotional feeling. And when we feel emotion, we take action. Guys, it's just the way we work as humans. So I want to challenge you guys to something. In fact, this was something I don't know where. Somehow I must have missed it in one of my slides. I want to challenge you to something. So we know that on average, we want 10 customers ordering 50 BD every single month. Okay. 10 customers, 50 BD every month. That's 500 BD. That's average. Okay. Why do we say this? Because we know that's $250 in retail profit for you each month. Do you guys know if you times that, we have 6 months in between leadership to icon, icon to leadership, to icon to leadership. 6 months. Do you know that's $1,500? That's without any commissions. That's just retail profit. $1,500 every 6 months. That would cover your convention. That would cover your travel, most of your stay, depending where you're coming from. But I thought, what if we all started this week? Obviously, we're coming in, you know, pretty hot right now to icon. Yet, what if we started now and just said, okay, we're going to have 5 intentional conversations where we share a little bit and we really listen. And maybe every day we share a story about, maybe you heard a story tonight and you're like, man, I want to share that story with somebody. What if we all earned just $250 in retail each month and set that as our initial goal with our brand new partners? That adds up. They're not going to question going to Icon or leadership because they've earned the income for it. And, God willing, they double that or triple that. I also keep a tracking sheet. That's one thing that I have had to do, or I lose track of my customers. And I know everybody's probably got a different method, but I finally had somebody just create a document for me. And I put every single name, what I sampled with them, what they tried, whatever. Did they complete the quiz and so on and so forth. So just having something where you can track everything for you. So I wanted to close tonight, obviously, before we open it up for Q&A, to just say that everybody is waiting for a story that only you can authentically share with them. So remember, they're the hero, we're the guide, and our goal is to elicit some emotion so that they want to actually have that transformation. Amber, should we open it up for any questions? Does anyone have a tracking sheet?
I'm tracking, but before that, I want to say a few things. If you pay attention, first of all, am I right? This is one of the best products retail training ever. Shelly